It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for us. And we're feeling good. Welcome, beautiful souls, to this new moon in Libra reading. This is one of those readings that I love that we don't do all the time, but I really love them, which is there are 5 readings before you. 5 separate readings. It's a pick a reading, but also I'm just going to go all the way through. You know what I mean? Like when I'm done with message 1, I'll be done. You know what I mean? and then we'll like move on to 2 and we're just going to keep going. It's like a group reading, but not a group reading. And I've been downloading so many cool things from Spirit. Number 1, that how cool that today is the last day of Libra season and the first day of the Libra moon. It's so cool. It's like we get 1 full day of Libra. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Virgo. So much has transpired. So tomorrow starts Scorpio season. And when I asked Spirit if we had any specific themes or titles for this, all I heard was it's like, and actually it's not even reading, it's message. I kept hearing message 1, message 2, message 3, message 4, message 5. And as you can see, their message 2, 4, and 5 have extra cards, but message 1 and 3 only have 1 card. So I also wanted to honor the ancestors because we are in full harvest now. We are 1 full month into fall or spring for our Southern Hemisphere family. And because I was blessed with so much bounty this year, I wanted to bring in a little bit there's a few I think I may be missing, but I think I brought in a representation of almost every single thing that I brought in or harvested this year. And I didn't, meaning like, I didn't grow them. I didn't pull in the harvest. I hope that's not coming off that way. I'm saying like, to celebrate harvest, Spirit blessed me with like all of this beautiful bounty from these magical creatures, these angels, this local farm in Squim called Sea Basket Farm, the Gundys. And I cannot even explain to you how magical my house feels with their things in it. I just received 3 more, well, the other things I received were cuttings, but these are full-on plants. I got 3 big ass lemongrass plants, and my whole house feels different. I feel different. My life feels different. I will put some information for lemongrass in the description box, but I mean, there's just been so many things. Even yesterday, we had this like sky phenomenon with like northern lights, a meteor shower, and comets. And you know what the comet was called? Lemon. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I mean, there's so much. I feel like there's so much more I want to talk about, and I will talk about. But today, I really want to specifically concentrate on these messages. And because there are many, I really want to dive in. So we will be talking more over the readings. If you're drawn to watch the whole thing, feel free to stay. Go get yourself something to eat and something to drink. Very healthy, I hope, and taking care of ourselves, because that is definitely the theme for this new moon. Also to remember that Libra is air energy and Scorpio is water. So today, you know what's so cool too? I didn't even realize this. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding me. The other thing that's super fucking rad about today is it is literally a 4-day. So in real time, it's 10/21/2025. And if you add it all together, it's a 4-day. And 4s are all about balance. And what is Libra? All about balance. We get 1 day with Libra to be balanced. So I'm feeling good. And I feel like there's something to that. And I'm already feeling that shadow fall away. If you haven't seen it already, I'll put a link in the description box. But it was like the sky was so wild here. It was so wild, and as the sun was going down, and then the storm clouds were coming in, and instead of seeing the northern lights in like these really cool colors, I saw them in black and white, like through the clouds. It was so weird. I don't know what was happening, because even if it like, so right, there's no moon, right? Like it's the last day of the moon cycle. I think the new moon came in at like 5:25 my time this morning. So when that happened, it was maybe 8 hours away from that. You know what I mean? And it was so freaking magical. You'll have to see the video. And, you know, I said, should I go outside? Because I thought, oh, I'd probably get a better view of this outside. And they were like, no, just stay where you are. And I'm like, okay. So I took a lot of the sky as the sun was coming down. But then I didn't even think, like, it was dark. That's why I didn't even notice it. It was like pitch black outside. And then all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck is that light? Because there's mountains around me. There's so many mountainous things. Like, look in the village right straight ahead and reading, or message 3. But anyway, all of a sudden this light was there, and I'm like, what the fucking fuck is going on? It was so cool. It was so powerful. There's nothing up there. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that would cause that light. So there's definitely some magic and phenomenon happening on planet Earth right now, and we're all going to really see it. Like, something changed, something broke in all of us. Not only that is, you know, we get eclipse seasons twice a year, and we just finished like the end of the dark moon from that eclipse season. When you have a dark moon tagged on to an eclipse season, it just takes us even deeper and darker. And you know what I mean? Like, I mean, look what just happened in the royal family. Like, yeah, shit's coming, man. Everything, it's like, you can run, but you can't hide. At this point, some of these people would be better off if they just, like, you know, said goodbye to this earth and whatever, you know. There's a lot of crazy shit's going to happen, and we're going to see the magic. And it's not going to be with an angry fist, you know. In fact, they told me to look at the vow in message 2. It's not going to be with an angry fist. It's about teaching us how to open up our minds and our bodies and our souls to release and let go, because that world is gone. I have been crying. My mom has been coming through. Bubba's been coming through. I've been getting all these things to like, let go, let go, let go. Like, that identity doesn't belong to you anymore. You are Tallulah Wren. You've said goodbye to all of that. So it may be for you as well. These messages are needed. So for message 1, we have the threshold. Message 2, the vow. Message 3, the village. Message 4, Aletheia, but they had me put it that way. Interesting. And message 5, the womb. So if you're not going to stay for the whole thing, that is no problem. If you're not drawn to them, don't. I always tell people, like, don't make a story your story. Some people like it because they understand the education of it, and they know how to separate their story from the message and not make it about, you know, something. But not everybody is in that skill set, and that's not a slight in any way, shape, or form. We are just at different levels of consciousness. So only go to the ones that you're really drawn to. Okay, so we are going to start with message 1, but before we start, let's all have a drink of water. I'm going to grab my water right now. Yeah, these are more fun because I don't have to be like, okay, bye reading 1, you know what I mean, and go into the whole thing, which is cool. It's part of the act, you know, like, I love it. I really do. But today, I'm tired too. Like, I'm going through what everybody's going through as well. So it's nice to just fucking relax with you guys and chill and just be present. So reading 1. There's also a lot of things that I don't know when and if they're going to have me talk about it, but there's a lot of shit happening over the next several months. A lot of stuff. Astrologically speaking. So take it easy, take it slow. I sprained my back, which I haven't done that bad, and that's why you hear me moving around kind of slow. I haven't done anything that horrible to my body in so long, and it's not even a negative to myself. It's just I'm living in a different location, You know, the weather is much different this year. It's already really, really cold and really heavy. My age, my bones, like everything, I worked so hard this summer, and I feel like my body is just like reading one, the threshold, right? Like I've like hit a point where I'm like, oh man. So I have to take better care of myself. I have to take better care of my body. I have to take better care of my mind, my soul, move slower. The thing is, you guys, is that the energy is moving faster on the planet. Like the rotation, everything is changing drastically. And we are trying to keep up with it like we're in the third dimensional world, because we're still dragging and lagging some of it behind. And this is the time where they're like, no, by now, this is the time where they're like, we need to be getting into our communities, which I wasn't surprised that the village card came out, right? Because it's time to like get into our communities of our people and really connecting with our people. And it's not to, I mean, of course we want to be around other people that are different and whatever, but in our everyday life, in our jobs, in our home life, in our personal, our social, all of that is like super, super important for us to be in a place that we feel like ourselves, that we feel comfortable. And, you know, sometimes it's hard when we're the strongest in the room. You know, if you found yourself here, you're a light worker of some kind, right? So, well, I just got the chills from spirit. We're making magic just by being alive. I mean, all of us, it's like we're a gift to the world just by being here. But we're still trying to keep up with the Joneses too. We're trying to still like roll in that old world and that old, with those old mentalities and old, you know, people. And I know that that is rough, you guys, but I'm telling you from personal experience, I've been having a lot of breakthroughs lately about this, about how important it is to have people around you who are like-minded. And it's not in a, you know, like you want to segregate yourself. It's not like that. It's more of like a barrier, like in the threshold, right? By the way, if Jessica sees this, Jessica, I'm wearing the cute blue shirt you got me. It's so cute. Thanks, you guys. I love when you guys send me things. It's so wonderful. I love you. Also, I was going to do a manicure yesterday, but my back was feeling better for once and I just couldn't deal with it. So there's that. Okay. But do you see how they're showing the threshold from far away? I thought those were hands, and now I see that they're feet. It's interesting. I feel like for some of you, it almost feels like you're on, sorry, I feel like I'm yelling at you. It almost feels as if you're still in shadow and like you're right there. You're like almost back. And I feel like for some of you, you want to go towards the fire, and not because it's like going to hurt you or burn you, but you understand that like that's where creativity comes from, right? The womb. The womb's got very similar colors, right? Over here, right? Actually, they all go together, really. It's kind of cool. It's like a story. So I'm going to leave that right there. And I'm going to go into the book. Okay. Ooh, when I paused for a second, it was 1359. I feel like that means something to somebody. Okay, the threshold, the door, the gate, the initiation. We cross thresholds continually, consciously and unconsciously. Doorways, gates, and entryways grace our path on a daily basis. When this card arises, it signifies that the precipice you stand upon is not your typical one. However, you have arrived at a threshold of initiation, here to usher you into a new reality. It requires you to leave behind the quote-unquote you that you thought was so well formed. A new frontier calls. This is not easy work. Threshold initiation means a part of you will be lost in order to make space for what is next. A metaphorical death must occur. Some may not recognize you. You may struggle to recognize yourself. The ground seems to crumble as you free fall into your new reality. This is the liminal realm. One step, dear friend. Just take that one necessary step toward the future that calls you. Wow. That's powerful. So if you're familiar with this deck, you know that there are many things going on here. They have a part called when in light and when in dark. And so when they speak of when in light, they're saying like when we're in our light, our happiness, our high vibration, we are in growth, individuation, ease, and the liminal. But when we're in dark, when we're in shadow, when we're in grief, Spirit said, we're resisting, refusal to grow, barriers and boundaries. If you want to go deeper in this, and you may want to take notes, they're not having me put the book up in front right now. Lie on the floor and listen to Bob Dylan's Standing in the Doorway. The threshold, the door, the doorway. I love it. It's also on page 153, which is a number 9. So I feel like that's for somebody. And it also says, crossing a threshold may not always be voluntary. Sometimes we are thrown across the boundary through circumstances far beyond our control. Either way, we cannot go back. In Hindu mythology, Ganesh is the ultimate gatekeeper. Look to the great elephant god for support. Hecate, Janus, and Mention are also watching over you. This feels, it's interesting. When I started this, I felt so happy and high, like in like such a good way. And just in the last few minutes, I feel like somebody deflated my balloon. And I understand. My whole body is the chills right now. I understand. I'm hearing Dorothy or Dorothea. There's something going on there. You know, this could be a grandmother, by the way, because she's really sweet. She's so cute. She wants you to picture her. She's got a pear shape. She looks like she's wearing like something from the 70s, like matching pants and like vest, but like a long vest, and she has short hair, kind of maybe curled on top. It's I keep seeing lilac or the number. She's saying the number purple, but I don't know what that means. I'm like, what do you mean the number purple? And she showed me the number 8, and also to go to reading 4. There's a little bit of purple on there, and it's interesting. When I was setting it up, I had it going a different way, which makes sense because that's Alethea or Althea. But this is very specific. I heard Dorothy or Dorothea, but there's something going on there for at least one person. Like she is not letting go. And it's interesting because she really wanted me to bring that amethyst in next to it. So I feel like for now, she's asking, can we just like lean this forward for a minute? Because she really wants you to see that. And if not, she's definitely like some character, angel, spirit here to send us some loving, healing energy and to let us know that we're not alone. And yeah, I got the chills. She feels very old school. I feel like when she was here in earth form, she was like an earth angel, but she wasn't, I feel like she was super loving and kind, but like I saw this thing earlier or yesterday with this New Yorker lady, and he's like, "You're so nice." And she goes, "No, I'm kind. I'm not nice." She goes, "I'm actually very mean. I'm a true New Yorker." She goes, "But I am kind." And I kind of feel like she feels like that, like somebody who just doesn't take any lip or bullshit or whatever, like where she, you know, if you were having a rough time, she'd be loving and kind to you, but at the same time she'd be like stiff upper lip, like, come on, pick yourself up, you know, you can do this. Because a lot of strong women are bred from strong women, and you don't have to be a woman to connect with that. It could even be that, like, you know, whatever you identify with, you know, she's calling to the divine feminine in all of us, you know, to release and let go of that pain and suffering that we've been holding on to. In order for us to pass the threshold, we have to let go of the past. And that's exactly what I was saying earlier at the beginning of this. You know, we have a new moon cycle. We get 28 days, you know, to have this really cool, awesome, exciting experience. We also are going to have a super full moon in Taurus on November 5th. And basically for the next month, this moon cycle, we're going to see some explosive and iconic and amazing and not so amazing things. But the not so amazing things are amazing too, because, you know, things always have to get worse before they get better. And, you know, lies and you know, a slip of the hand is only going to go so far, you know. You can keep fooling somebody a certain way, but after a while people start to catch on. And you know, so don't concern yourself so much with the outer world is what I'm getting from Dorothea. She's saying for all of us, it really is one moment, one step, one breath at a time. I've been going through that too, because I live in the Pacific Northwest, and because I live in a tiny home, you know, an RV, it's not insulated really. I mean, it is, but it's not, you know, and we've been remodeling it. So we took all these walls out, and one wall we didn't have to take the insulation out because of mold and stuff. So, but it's exactly where we're putting in the wood stove, you know? So at first we were like, ah, shit. But then we're like, yeah, but that's actually the perfect place to put the wood stove, you know? So sometimes when something's not so great, you know, whatever, but my partner and I, we are so used to winterizing, and maybe you do that where you live too, you know, but it's always the first like month of like getting it together, and it's kind of a lot of drag work or whatever, which is why I hurt my back. I've been on overload, trying to be superwoman, trying to get too many things done too quickly, and Spirit's like, it will all get done. It will all get done. Believe in yourself, trust in us, trust that we got your back, you know. I'm like, okay, you know, but at the same time, they're like, go with the flow, just go day by day. And I'm like, okay, but this needs to happen and this needs to happen. They're like, and they will. Slow down. And I'm like, so I know that this is a message for me too. And we're so close, you guys. We're only, what? So we're about 4 months. We're roughly a little under 4 months before the year of the horse comes in. So we are definitely going to be shedding more skin. You know what I mean? Like, we are definitely going to be releasing and letting go of shit. We are definitely at the precipice of something really different, something we've never experienced before. And as somebody who works as a medium, a psychic medium, a telepath, an intuitive, all of the above, depending on which day, it's been difficult. I want it all up front now too. Instant gratification. I'm like, yeah, but that's my job, right? Like, don't I need to know what's going to happen in 3 months from now? They're like, no. Your job is to hold space. Your job is to learn. Your job is to teach. Your job is to, you know, teach what you learn more, teach more, keep growing, keep changing, keep expanding. They're like, that's the only job you have. Throat chakra, right? It's a tough one. I've been going through stages. Who am I really? What do I really want? This new moon is really powerful. And if they call us to, we can write down, you know, all of our hopes and our dreams and our wishes and all that. Sometimes new moons, like on a dark moon, they don't recommend doing that, because the dark moon, you know, can really put a shade on things and mislead, you know, down wrong paths. But if it happens, it happens, right? Then it was meant to be. But I've been getting that message from Spirit a lot lately too, that every day we are in and out of different timelines and experiences and situations, dimensions, while we're awake, while we're asleep. There's a huge transformation happening in the whole universe. It's not just on planet Earth. It's a universal thing, which is why they're urging us to go day by day, because it's not just our solar system and our world that this is affecting. Oh, I just got the chills. So we have a different experience here as light workers. And also for all those who are awake and understand that there is definitely something beyond here. And it's happening right now. I've been seeing all these articles popping up all over the place about how there's inner worlds and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? No shit. They've been talking about this forever. I'm like, why do you think there are mountains and certain, whatever? There's like worlds underneath the mountains. And how do you think they get water and the waterfalls underneath? Like we're basically, I mean, if you wanted to break it down, this is what I'm getting from Spirit. Talk about threshold. If you want to break it down, we really are like Hades. Like, we're between all worlds. We're not just in some underworld, place of kindness and earth people and whatever. It's like, we're not just of the stars. We're all things. We're all encompassing, which is why it's even more confusing. Because when we're not human, we understand all that. But when we're human, we don't. I don't believe humans live in the inner world. It probably is like elves and fairies and different species. Human-like, humanoid maybe, but like not like what we are. There's no mini malls there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it is like what we think of like Lord of the Rings and things like that. I really do. And I don't think I'm crazy either. I do think that there's something to that. So if that's true, which I believe that it is, then what is that saying? You know what I mean? It's really expanding our awareness even more, but even that I think just freaks people out more because they're like, well, I don't know what's fucking believing anymore. It's like, but why do you have to just believe in one thing? Why can't it all be happening all at once? Oh, I just got the chills. It's all happening all at once. When I just saw like a snippet of a headline that said, finding razor blades in candy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they did that shit to us in the 70s. They did the same fucking thing. They did the same thing. Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it's like, I mean, there's just so many things that are repeating themselves. I'm really in love with, I think her name's Erin Miller. She's hilarious. I just started subscribing to her, and she's like, she grew up in the 90s, and like, so she, talks about, what childhood was like, whatever. And she makes me laugh so hard because I was actually like, I graduated in 1990, and I spent most of, from the time I was 18 to like 2002, 2003, either living in Chicago or living in LA. So I was either like a young adult or like a full adult, So it was like, I'm like, some of it I relate to, and some of it I'm like, are you sure? I feel like that was more like in this time. So they posted something the other day about the street lights, that they knew when to come home when the street lights came on. She's like, man, I miss the 90s. And all these people are chiming in going, yeah, I miss that too. And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, I'm not trying to take away anything. I'm like, but I was born in 1971, and that's just been going on since I was a kid, which means it's probably been going on since like other people, you know what I mean? But it's funny how we can just associate with like our inner, like just with our blinders on our world, because that's what was happening to us. And our childhood could tell us so much about ourselves. And when we were children, we believed in everything. And then bit by bit, this fucked up, third dimensional, patriarchal, call it what you want, world has just shifted again, where we're like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to know that. I don't, you know what I mean? And you don't have to. Believe what you want to believe. You want to change your career? Be an archaeologist. I don't know who this is for, but I'm like, I just heard, then be one. You don't even have to go to school. You can volunteer to be on digs. You may not be able to like, whatever, like you may have to have some science, obviously, because when you're digging, you have to make sure you're not disrupting like, geology, that kind of stuff. But I think I'm saying that right. But you know what I'm saying. But I'm hearing that it's time for us to stop looking at things, like they said, so liminal. It's like we have so many layers to us. And I feel like for some of you, you're about to break through that threshold. So hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. All right, you guys, we're going to move on to the vow. The vow. Also, I forgot to say reading one was number 45, which was number 9. I think that's why they wanted me to say, you know, because we said that the threshold was on. Oh, and welcome reading 2 to the vow. But it's really message 2. Like I said at the beginning, it's a pick a reading, but it's like a mass message pick a reading. So let's go back here. So we just finished up with threshold. It was really good. But yeah, that's really cool. That's right. The threshold was 45. Isn't that interesting? And then it was on page 153, which was the number 9. And it could even be for reading 2 that you were debating on whether to go watch reading 1, and maybe you're meant to go check it out. Okay, so the vow. Number 54. Oh shit, it's also the number 9. What? It's like they mirror each other. That's why. So message 1 and message 2. Wow, wow, look at that. 45 and 54. Oh my gosh. Now I'm even more excited to get into this, because that's why I love doing these kind of readings. It's like following the breadcrumbs for real. Hold on. Okay, message 2. I'm also being called to ring a bell. So if you've got earbuds on or anything, just be prepared, okay? I know it's kind of pingy, right? But it's good. Because the vow is about the promise, the oath, the contract. When the vow is spoken, the air shifts, karmic ties are formed, and destiny tilts on its axis. Our words and intentions have immense power. There is a reason the great mythic stories of our past often include the recitation of oaths and the mixing of drops of blood as a mark of union. The tricky part is that reciting the vow, no matter how casually, activates the eternal and unseen forces of the world. The ancestors bear witness. The laws of nature respond. These promises cannot be unsaid or forgotten, so breaking them can leave lingering complexities and loose ends. This card calls to us to acknowledge the vow we are living by, consciously or unconsciously, and either recommit to it or create a ritual that signifies its closure. You've been underestimating the power of your promises. So when we are in light, when we are in high vibration energy, we are bearing witness to the shifts toward destiny. But when we're in shadow, when we're in darkness, the unconscious vows, unkept promises, and messy karma. To go deeper, learn the yamas, the 5 vows of the seeker. It's funny, they didn't have me do this in reading 1, but they're having me do it in this one. Okay, so that is powerful. And it says, think of the last promise you made. Was it to yourself or another? Has it been upheld or broken? Wow. Like really having us stick to our words, right? Like, and our thoughts and our words, and being very conscious of it. Anytime the energy of the vow is present, we are in the archetypal realm of ceremony and ritual. That means time stands still and anything is possible. So message to 3444 was, they had me pause for a second and release some energy. And they had me pause, and it was 3444. So that's an angel number for you to work with. But also remember too, it's 34 semicolon 44. So it could even be like ages, like when you were 34, when you were 44. It could be you and someone else. It could be the vow, you know. Oh, I just got the chills on that one. It could be somebody you're married to. It could be somebody that you're like, why can't we break up? Why can't things happen? Why, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, I had this very discussion with my partner. I was like, you realize that like we betrothed ourselves up in the mountains in nature and like called in the ancestors. Like we did a huge full on thing. Like, I don't, you know, whether you think we're nuts or not, but like we absolutely, like I could almost see them all, you know. It felt like, you know, that scene in Star Wars where you see they're having the festival and you see like Yoda and like Darth Vader, like you see them all like, you know, in their spirit form, like celebrating with them or whatever. Or was it Obi-Wan Kenobi? I don't remember, but you know what I'm talking about? It was like that. And then we both felt Sasquatch energy, and Alder's really, really, really connected to that energy, like really connected. So, you know, I've said to him, I'm like, if you, every time I'm like ready to like be done, I'm like, we need to go up there and break our vows. I mean, we don't have to go up there, but ceremonially speaking, I feel like it would be better for both of us. Also, because we got married there and we laid Bubba, our familiar, to rest there. So I feel like it would be like an ending of a chapter there, you know? And every time I've wanted to do it, he is like, no. You know what I mean? So, but that means then we have to change our behavior then. Then we have to live up to the vows that we took. We can't keep behaving the way we are. You know, karma is very real. And, you know, I asked Spirit about this. I said, is my karma connected to their karma? They're like, no, but if you're connected to them and they're going through karmic energy, then, you know, they're like, basically just focus on yourself. Focus on, you know, where you are, what you're doing, what's happening, like the rest will fall into place. And so I would say do the same for yourself. Okay, also only a few of these pulled extra cards. So let's see what your extra cards have to, there's, I don't know if they want me to put them in order. Also, they wanted me to say that the 3444 could also be adding, you know? So, so I think it comes out to the number 6. So it could even be like that you're a life path 6. It could be that you've been seeing the number 6 everywhere. I don't know, but they have me do that. Okay. Do you want me to pull these out yet? They're saying no. Are there any more messages? They're having me go and look at the card a little bit closer. And the message that I'm getting is there's somebody who is, I feel like this is your spirit, right? Like this is you, like you're the bird, but like this is like you're like wanting to fly free, but somebody keeps holding your hands, like stopping you from doing what you're meant to do or where you're meant to go. Or, and I have to say, you guys, it feels very parental. And this is for more than one person. It feels like somebody's like still holding on. You know, like they won't let you go. They won't let you be who you are. They won't, you know. Oh, I just got the chills. So you have to let them go. And, you know, here's the thing. When people are like, well, we have free will and it's a choice. I'm like, yes, it is. And they're like, so I can choose. I'm like, yes, you can. But you have to remember that if you keep choosing the easy way out, not only are you not going to grow and expand as a soul, but you're literally like, you're clinging on to an old world and an old life that literally has no bearing on your future. And I know that that is difficult to hear and understand. But this is a huge wake-up call from Spirit message too. You came here to do a job. you know, and this, I've been seeing this with a lot of light workers, because you're literally stuck in the human world. Like, you don't want to give up being human. And they're like, but you're not fucking human, dude. Like, you're not human. They're getting a little rough because they're like, you're not human. If you found yourself on message 2, like, you're not human. You may be in a human avatar, but you are a light worker, most likely an earth angel, meaning like you are here to fulfill a purpose and a destiny. Have you ever seen like those movies or the TV shows where they're like, the person's like playing a character, and then all of a sudden like somebody plays music and they trigger and they like turn into somebody else because they were like programmed to be, you know, that, and they're like, what the fuck is happening? And they're like, every time that music plays, that, you know, somebody must have hypnotized them. You know, have you ever watched Zoolander, the original one, right? And like Derek Zoolander would never try and kill the prime minister, but they brainwash him into killing the prime minister, right? So it's kind of like that, but this is a different way. It's like you were programmed to be this, you know, a son, a daughter, a parent, you know, whatever, insert your story, a significant other, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be different for everybody, but what they're trying to say is that, but in this life, you're on your own, bam, bam, right, Prince? And if the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy. Party time. Now, what they're saying is that, like, you have to mourn and let go of that old life and that old world so that you can do the job you came here to do. And you're so powerful. And you were brought here, like, you know, same with me. I have days too. I was speaking of this earlier, you know, that there are just days where I just can't stop fucking crying. And I know it's just part of it. It's release. It's been my mom a lot. It's been my familiar that passed earlier this year. And others who have passed on as well, and just others who are still alive, just like feeling their energy, just like knowing that they're here, knowing that they're like trying to reach out to me. It's hard. It's devastating. I'm with you. You are not alone. But you cannot move forward with some relationships that are in your life still. I got the chills again. And it's like, how many times do they have to keep telling you over and over? And I know if you're getting chills or you're feeling it or you're knowing, they're like, you know. So the next 4 months are going to be really intense as we are finishing up the year of the snake and the shedding and releasing and letting go. It's about rebirth, because the next phase is the year of the horse, which is about freedom. And they want us all to feel free. They want us to feel free. And the only way to feel free is to release ourselves from the past. They want me to show you these in order, okay? The cave. Now, in the description box, I will put a link for the reading that we just did. Spirit had me post it. I don't know when it was. The crone. Oh. Also, the cave is 32, which is the number 5, change and transformation. The crone is 13, which is the number of the goddess, and also they're holding that pentacle and the crow. The animal, number 19. 13 is the number of the divine feminine too, and the witch. And number 12, the king. Yes, definitely. If you haven't watched it, it was a group reading with this same deck, and almost all the cards that we pulled for that are here. I'm also hearing, like, for some of you, it could be that your divine masculine is, you know, because look at how, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Do you see how there's like a seal in their hand, but like a wax seal? But they're also, I feel like they're putting their hand up, and the wax seal kind of looks like a stop sign. And it could even be that your divine masculine is screaming out right now, because things are shifting, things are changing, and it doesn't matter what you identify with. We all have masculine and feminine in our chart. You may want to go and check out your birth chart. When I looked up, it was 4447. So it's kind of interesting because before it was 3444, now it's 4447. So it could even be that like you keep seeing 444 and your life path 7, or 7's your lucky number, or maybe it's your birthday. It could be to add all of them together, whatever, you know, but there's something there. And let me see, do you want me to read any of those cards from the book right now? Yeah, like I didn't feel that at all. I feel like they're trying to show you like, you know, I almost feel like too, like for some of you, like you're just playing too small. That's why the animal, they're like, you need to be a little more fierce, because you are way more like they should be a little concerned about your bark and your bite, you know, the animal within. I feel like I almost want to go backwards now. Now look at it this way. I felt like they were stuck together. Okay, so we've got the king, the animal, which is interesting because the king is the divine masculine, then the animal, then the crone, which is the divine feminine. We have the maiden mother crone energy, right? So it's like the king is like the king, right? Like you don't get any bigger, right? So and the masculine energy in any deck. And it's the same with the crone. It's like the crone is, you know, she's the elder. That's what the crone is. And then we have the cave and the vow. They're like, and maybe it's time for you over the next, whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, but I feel like over the next several months, message 2, I feel like they want you to really go inward and release these holds that people have over you. Because I've had this deck a long time and I see these cards in all different ways, and I've never seen it so aggressive like this. Like I really feel like somebody is holding you down. And it could be both. It could be a crone and a king. Like it could be parents, it could be children. It could be like a parent and maybe a significant other. But I definitely feel like there is, you know, or it could be you and someone else. You know what I mean? Like you could be the crone and they're the king, or they're the king and you're the queen, whatever you align with. But I can see why they didn't want me to read the book, because they all have such intense meanings. But we really went into this on the group reading. And maybe even if you watch the group reading, go back and watch it again after this. Like you may look at it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Whew, that's intense. Message 2, you took a vow. You said words to spirit. You wrote a contract before you came over here. You got to let go of the human shit. Let people surprise you too. Let people surprise you. You know, there were people that I thought were going to just be like, oh, that's quirky Kelly. Like she's, you know, whatever, changing her name. And, oh, that's, you know, quirky, you know, whatever. And she believes in witches and goblins and dragons or whatever. But it was interesting. The people I thought, a lot of the people I thought would support me didn't, and the vice versa. People that I thought were gonna whatever were like, dude, that totally makes sense. And they're like, no, you're magical. Or like, I've always felt like, you know, you gotta, you know. So it's interesting. Let people surprise you. And a lot of the people who I thought would support me were people that were either jealous, or, which is sad because I don't like feed into that energy, but unfortunately in the third dimensional world, it's very real. And that's their own prison. You know what I mean? That's their own prison, that they can't be happy with who they are or work on their own skills and gifts, that they have to envy yours. I mean, that's a very interesting thing. I mean, I could go round and round and round and all the different levels of what I think it is, but it's going to be different for each of you. But you did make a contract before you came over here, and we need you now more than ever. So even if it's just that you're, you know what I did with a lot of my people? Some people, I told them certain things because I knew that's what they needed to hear, and spirit was like, that's fine. And then other people, I was very real about it, because I thought, well, this is the make it or break it time. This is when I find out who my real friends are, who my real family is, like who will really stand behind me and understand me and support me. And in the end, you know, of course it's heartbreaking. of course, it's especially being telepathic medium empath and hearing their thoughts and the things that, I was like, fuck. But at the same time, I needed to know that. I needed confirmation. I needed to know that, just because you're related to people or you've been friends your whole life or whatever, that doesn't mean fucking diddly dick. And I really use that term, but it's true. It's just that it's just another programming of like, you want lifelong friends and, oh, you want a lifelong job and you want to, it's just buying into the matrix. It's like all of our relationships are different. And you know what? They evolve. So release them and letting go that hopefully they'll come back around. And if they don't, make peace with the fact that you will see them again. If you're here and you believe in this, then you know that you're going to see them again. And if they're in pain and they're suffering, I know it hurts, but don't take it on. And also, one of the things that I did, and it really helped a lot, was I told people that I was taking a lot of time for myself to work on myself and work on I wanted to change my life and blah, blah, blah. And it was all true. Nothing I said was a lie. And I told some people, you may not hear from me for weeks, for months, maybe years. I remember my mom going, what do you mean years? I'm not going to live forever. And I was like, and of course, and a lot of you know, my mom died and I didn't get to be there. And it breaks my heart that she didn't, whatever. But life is interesting. Life is life. And you are not responsible for how somebody responds to the way that you live yours. And some will be positive and some won't. But you took a vow and we need you now, and you cannot you're probably exhausted fighting off the powers. I totally get it. I've been going through similar things myself. And I think that's it. Is there anything else for message 2 right now? Ooh, and I looked up, it was 41. It was 51:45, but I was like, there's another 9, but also 51 is 6, and we spoke about 6 in was it in reading 1? Anyway, all right, you guys, or message 1. I'm used to calling them readings, but they're messages. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a break really quick, and then I'm going to come back for reading 3, message 3. Thank you, Spirit. And we will proceed. Of course, for you, it'll be a second, but it'll be a few minutes for me. But thank you for being here so far, message 1 and message 2, and we'll see you over at message 3. Okay, welcome back, message 3. You're the first one that I was pulled to burn some Palo Santo. So if you have some Palo Santo, use it. If you don't, get yourself some. If you don't know where to get some, I'll put a source in the description box of someone that I know and trust. Interesting. Did you hear that spark? The allspark. Ooh, I just heard that from Spirit. So if you were drawn to reading message 2, if you were drawn to that, then I highly suggest you go and check it out, because I just felt what I didn't say in message 2, but I feel like this is like a culmination. One of these culmination readings is I got a visual of the Autobots, and I'm really into the Transformers. I have such a connection to them. I always think of like Optimus Prime is like Metatron, and I don't know. I don't want to get into that whole thing right now, but I'm definitely getting a download for message 3 that message 2 has some things in there for you, but also from message 2, when we spoke about, fulfilling our destiny, our vow, our mission here on earth. I feel like that's part of where they're talking about for message 3, the village, because it's interesting, because I'm like, I'm like, how much do I say? I don't want to be too cryptic, right? Like, because if you're here for message 3, but you don't feel drawn to 2, but maybe all of you are, that, when I start these kind of readings, that's why I start them saying, like, it's like a group reading, not a group reading, because they're all connected, but maybe you're just here for, like, you found this out of nowhere, you don't even know who I am, and you're, like, drawn to message 3, which I would probably normally call reading 3. So if you hear me slip, but Spirit was really precise about calling them message instead of reading. And maybe they're trying to get me to start changing and from, instead of pick a reading, pick a message, I don't know. Maybe that's what they'll have me put on there. But anyway, I digress. So there's just a lot coming through, and they're connecting. It's like, because as I'm trying to talk to you, I'm downloading a lot, but also I'm getting this visual of, like, things being sewn together, you know what I mean, like a needle and thread. Like, I'm getting this, like, that they all go together, you know what I mean. And definitely I feel like if you're here for, like, the group part of it, I feel like watching it all in one go will be really interesting and insightful. You know what I'm saying? But of course, if you came here the other way, that's okay too. Anyway, so let's get to it. So the village. Wow. Also, message 3, when I looked down, it was 5552. And this is how another link for you for reading a message 2, because they had something like that, but with 4s. So that's so crazy. Oh, I just got the chills all over my body. Okay, so the village, the hometown, the family, the tribe. The village presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most like home, the place to which you can always return. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. On the other hand, it's the very place you must leave in order to grow. Around the village, an unspoken boundary exists. One most villagers do not want you to cross. Though some support your leaving, still you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders, leaving them behind. The energy of the village is present anytime we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its perimeters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the village for all it has provided, knowing you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. Seriously? Yeah. Message 2 is like, we went through all of these cards talking about it. It's so powerful and so profound. And I do feel, what's interesting too is this ring. I was really drawn to that. And I didn't really understand. I have seen this card so many times. I spoke about this in some of the other cards. You can look at a deck so many times, but then see it again for the first time, because you see different things. There's a different message coming through. I'm also hearing for some of you, your buried treasure is like, we talked about this, like the underworld. There's something going on too. I feel like for some of you, you're feeling homesick. Maybe you're having an awakening of knowing, like, that you come from the fairy realm or the elvish or something of that, of more of a peaceful people, but you're the warrior for your people, and you signed on, like Lord of the Rings, to come up to outer earth and fight this battle before they try to destroy our planet. And it is like a movie, and people don't want to look at it. They want to look at the movies and the books and the Twilights and all these, but they don't want to really, like, see that that's actually true, that shape-shifting is real, that telekinesis is real, that there's so much magic happening on this planet. It's unbelievable. But I never noticed it until this very day, that looks like a diamond ring, like an engagement ring. It looks like they're literally trying to grab an engagement ring. So in this deck, when we are in light, when we are in high vibration, we are intimate, we are rooted, we are intergenerational, and we are communal, right? We're in that community of the village energy. We are understanding that, you know, it's not that people are trying to oust people or build a utopia and be like, you can't come in, you know. It's more like, it's one thing if you're in your house and you're having a great day and everything, you know, but out of nowhere, a fly just keeps coming at you. And you're like, what the fuck? When it happens, I always know that that's spirit trying to get my attention for something. But once I've, you know, satiated whatever that need was, the fly goes away. But if you are constantly being bombarded by flies and they don't go away, then you have to ask yourself what in the environment needs to change. You know, for me, it was like, I come from a very large family. My father and my mother, both sides of the family are very large, lots of people, lots of cousins. And, you know, it didn't matter if I got along with some or didn't get along with others, or they're like, oh, I love you for who you are. I'm like, that's cool. But I was like, no, like, but this is more than that. Like, I am on a voyage. Like, this isn't just, oh, you're a Christian and you're open-minded, or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something so much more deeper than that. And that's the kind of community that they've been pushing for us to build with each other and people who are in our inner circle. If you have somebody in your inner circle who is constantly just pecking at you like a little fly, just like, you know, won't leave you alone, it's hard for you to expand and grow and become who you were brought here to be, and to be the example, you know, living your life, just being yourself, but living it in a true way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't, you know, drink your wine, smoke your cigarettes, eat your shitty food, and be a light worker. And I mean, you can, but you're going to always kind of be somewhere in the fray. And if that's okay for you, then that's where you'll be, you know. But each day we get a choice of who we are and where we stand in the world. And for some of us, it's a little closer to home. It's our village. It's our people. So it makes sense that when we're in the shadow of the village energy, we're small-minded, we're gossipy, we feel trapped and restricted. So to go deeper, they're having me show you here. I think, you know, they didn't have me show it in message one, but I was thinking about it. I'm like, probably because it's Bob Dylan, and it was, you know, we were talking about the door, and so I think that's a little easier to remember. Okay, so that's if you want to go deeper into this energy. Then it says, returning to the village is as important as leaving it. This can be thought of as a completion or an integration of what you learned out in the wild. Many moons ago, I was called back to where I grew up to go to family weddings. One year in August, one the next year in October. And not every time, but those 2 times that I went back, and I hadn't gone back for some years before that. And I was different from one year to the next. I had been going through so many changes, and I could tell some people were like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, because the first time I came by, after not being there for years, I was at death's door. And then a year later I came back and I was good. I was looking good. I was feeling good, and all was well with the world. And, you know, some people didn't like that. They liked it better when I was frail and ill and confused and a fuck up. And no, me coming back strong. And there was somebody who was a friend of our family who caught me in the bathroom and was such a shit to me. And it was weird. I wasn't sure how I would react, you know, because the first year I went back, I wasn't sure what I was doing. I just knew I needed to let go and say goodbye. And I was trying to figure out like who was going to, you know, stay in my life, who wasn't. And it was just a really interesting time. But the next time I was more assertive. I was stronger in myself and my knowing. I was standing more tall in who I was because I was gaining my power back. I was taking my power back. I took my power back the first time, but by the next year, I learned how to heal myself through other fellow healers. And I wasn't some like fragile, sad, lost puppy. I was a strong, I remembered who I was, witch. And I was like, okay. So I didn't respond to them in the way that I thought I would. Instead, I responded with love, and I was just like, yeah, well, blah, 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 blah. And I really let it roll off my back. And I realized that I needed that particular person because we always had a relationship that I felt like was kind of phony anyway. So, on their end, for sure, like pretending they liked me, but I can tell they didn't, but doing it for their friend and the family and everything. But it was so interesting how I realized that was the gift from Spirit, that it was of course going to be harder. It was going to get harder, but they were like giving me certain people that they're like, now like use your third eye. What are they really thinking about you? What are they really saying about you? And it was so different, and everything started to shift. And as I took my power back, they had no more control over me. And I want you to do the same. And we spoke about this in message 2 and in message 1, really, about the threshold and, getting past that part that doesn't, work for you anymore. So the last message here is, the village moves with you, as it is more of a mindset than a physical place. Like some of you have said recently, when I was really struggling, you're like, we feel you. Most of our family, we're all here together online. We don't live near each other. We're push pins all over the world, but we have each other. We have this divine connection because we know that wherever we come from, the village, the place, whether it's this underworld or, the cool thing about these cards is, there's always two sides to the story, right? Now, when you look at it, it's like, what do you see? I mean, this is literally could just as easily be mountains, and that's like a dark energy. And maybe you keep looking for that brass ring or your gold or whatever in some village that doesn't exist for you, in some community, some family, some group. Maybe it's no longer meant to, hold you. And I just heard from Spirit, or guide you. Okay, do we have any more messages from message 3? Okay, so again, check out message 2, reading 2, whatever. And look at how much I'm trying to control it. Like, they've told me it's message 2, but I keep saying, do you see? I'm human here too. I do the same, the controlling thing. I don't even realize it. The other day I said something to my partner and I go, I caught myself in some really weird controlling things recently. I'm trying to control the controlling. And he just like looked at me with such a face of like, felt like exoneration, almost like, oh, thank God, like she sees it, right? Because he knows, he flies with the wind, I fly with the fire. And ooh, my ears are ringing. Are some of you having situations with your ears ringing? Oh, speaking of, he's here. Hold on. Welcome back. It's been a second for you. Holy crap. So I just saw someone walk by, and then I stood up and I saw it was Alder. And he was walking really quickly, and I was like, what is going on? And so I paused with you guys. He came bearing gifts. He was carrying a bunch of stuff that was heavy. So it's a long distance from where we park to where we are on the property. So it probably starts out, or I should say from experience, it starts out one way and then all of a sudden it gets heavier. Anyway, long story short, I apologize for interfering with the reading. But, I feel like this is the kind of thing they're trying to show us as well, because as I spoke in one of the other messages, was that Spirit is teaching me how to relinquish control. And I feel like it's for you as well. Like if you found yourself at this reading, honestly, I was like, didn't we finish it? Because I feel like we finished it, but I might have been like finishing up, but I don't know. What I'll do is when I go to edit this, I'll go back, and if there was any extended messages or if anything else came through, I'll record another video and then I'll put a link to it in the description box underneath message 3, if there's more. If not, it might have just been like, whatever, you know, but I feel like they're trying to show us like to stop trying to control everything, stop trying to make everything perfect, stop, you know what I mean? Just stop. Just really just go with the flow. And I mean, I felt Alder's energy really strong earlier, but he had mentioned the other day he didn't think he'd be by until Wednesday. And, you know, he's a triple air and his moon is in fire. So a lot of times he just goes and we can have discussions. I mean, I've known him for a decade, and I mean, I just don't think he's ever going to change certain things unless he really like wants to change them. And if he doesn't, I have to be okay with the fact that that's just who he is. And one of them is that I've said in the past, you know, if you message me and I don't respond, most likely I'm working or whatever. So in his mind, he was like, well, I don't know. I haven't seen, because my phone, I don't have fancy software. So I'm recording this on my phone and I can't just like stop and, you know what I mean? And I go into airplane mode. I don't want to see, you know, I asked Spirit, I was like, do we, you know, want to do this? We do want to do that. I'm like, should I message him? I kept getting the vibe that I needed to message him and let him know that I was going to be working. And sure enough, he showed up. And he came bearing gifts. So you definitely don't want to be like, hey, don't show up. I'm working, dude. I've said this like a million times, you know. He comes bearing gifts. And that's what the hardest part is. And you know what's interesting? My dad used to do the same shit. He would show up when he wanted to. Like a wizard always arrives exactly when they're meant to, right? He'd show up when he wanted to. But he would always show up like, you know, with, if he came to the party late, he'd bring alcohol. If he, you know, was coming to a birthday party, he'd bring more presents than he needed and food. And you know what I mean? So it's interesting, and it's, you know, I just heard from Spirit, it's part of a narcissist too. So all I know is that the things he brought are the things I really, really needed, and I didn't know when they were going to show up, and I'm so grateful. So I apologize that it's come into this, but I really genuinely believe that like you were meant to be a part of this, because if you weren't, I don't think you would be. You know what I mean? So if you haven't left, or whoever's still here, I feel like that's what they're trying to show us, that the whole point of New Earth and this new old world is really just about like going with the flow of things, you know? I mean, I know I say to people all the time when I'm doing readings, you know, don't just show up at my house. Don't. And it's interesting because my landlord's been doing that a lot lately too. And both of them have always been super respectful of my work and super respectful of like my space. And like, if I don't respond, like don't show up. And so I think there's something going on with that too. So there's that. So thank you, everybody. And I would apologize, but I guess I'm not supposed to. But that's the thing. I'm always trying to make sure it's perfect and nothing's going to be interrupted and you're going to have my undivided attention. And, you know, and they're like, yeah, but that's not real life. And, you know, everybody's going at their own pace right now. And can I just say, he brought me a new Mr. Heater buddy. I love those little Mr. Heater buddies. They're so good. Ours finally died. We had it for, oh gosh, 2+ years. And it finally died. And yeah, so I will not be freezing in here anymore. And it's in perfect timing because I just got the lemongrass plants that like more of like that wet heat. And also we're supposed to have these crazy windstorms here over the next week. And I was a little concerned that if the power goes out, which it does sometimes out here, when those windstorms come in, that I was going to be cold. And now I'm going to be warm, just like the color in these cards. So, you know, our blessings come in all shapes and sizes. Let's try not to control them, shall we? So thank you so far. Message 1, message 2, message 3. And now we're going to dive into message 4. Alethea. Which, if memory serves, that would be 77. Let's go into the book. 11351. Also, I remember now, I think I was going to ring a bell. So I'm going to do it now. So prepare your ears. I think I was going to do another little clearing for 3, but even though we stepped into 4, message 4, that's okay. So here we go. Oh, I know. my ears started ringing. That's what it was. I was talking to you guys, and then my ears started ringing, and then I saw Alder. Oh my gosh. The connection. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you just came to message 4, it's okay. Like I said, I love these group pick a message readings because it's in a flow. I mean, wait till you hear this message reading for message 4. Truth. Number 4 is truth, and today is a 4 day. So it says our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of aletheia, I don't know. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize it by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The aletheia card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation, a gesture, a poetic act, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. Oh, man. And those of you who know like my story, that's so interesting because that's one of my partner's things. He battles with the truth. So interesting that he came in like right when we were about to start this. I mean, we were an hour and 8 minutes in. I even said one more time, I'm like, are you sure you don't want me to reach out to him, or you don't want me to like, and they were like, no. I'm like, okay. Now, I don't remember if I asked if I should put it in airplane mode, so maybe I would have known he was coming. But either way, you know what I mean? Like everything, it's just flowing in such a truth right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm seeing things so much more clearly these days. Like so much more clearly. And I would be remiss not to bring this up. Oops. Almost started the village on fire. Interesting that I said that too. Also, if anybody has a loved one or a crossed over loved one named Dorothy or Dorothea, she came through as well. I don't remember now if it was in message 1 or 2, but she wore lilac, or she was talking about purple and the color 8. So I don't know if that message is for you guys too. Because this is 77, which is also the number 14, which is also the number 5. And the vow, was it the vow? One of them, we spoke of the change and transformation. So how we go about change and transformation is by living our truth. And I love how they have one side of the rose is in, the white is in with a black background, and then the black rose with the white background, showing the duality in all of us, the light, the shadow, and then the balance. Let's get to this card. And you have some more cards too. Okay, so when we are in light, we are in clarity, revelation, and disclosure of the truth, right? Like we're in clarity of the truth. We know what the truth is. Now, the interesting thing is, you know, truth can actually be subjective in some cases, especially when everybody is looking at the same thing. We're all going to look at it from a different perspective. So one person's truth may not be another person's truth. And I feel like this goes for at least one person that needed to hear that. So when we're in shadow, when we're in darkness, we distort the truth, right? We're in distortions. We're gaslighting, excuses. I mean, this is kind of giving me like this kind of empath narcissist energy. So if you pulled this, also, look how they have the yin and the yang there, right? The duality. And this one on the bottom, it's like there's like 3 parts. So you've got a yin and a yang, and, you know, So this could even be, for some of you, there could be a third party in this truth or untruth, so to speak. So to go deeper, it says the goddess Ma'at and Veritas. So work with them if you want to go deeper into this medicine. It's also in 221, which is also the number 5. 5's change and transformation. So you're about to have a big change and transformation. It says, it is said that the resonance of our voice changes when we speak of falsity in this light. Practice seeing truth as a vibration. And it could be for some of you, maybe you have a hard time seeing the truth. And Spirit's trying to show you, like, you know, or it could be that you're denying your gifts, because if you were like totally tapped into your gifts, you'd know. I mean, I always knew, my whole life I've always felt when people were lying to me. And I was known to say to people, or like if they would say something to me, I would either tilt my head with that look like, really, you know what I mean? And not even say a word, or I'd go, dude, you know what I mean? And I would repeatedly hear from my friends and family, I don't know what it is, I can't lie to you, man. I'm like, now that I realize, like, that's part of my, you know, and that could be you too. Maybe you're denying that part of you. That's a human bullshit barometer, you know? If you found yourself here, you're a light worker, but you're in, you know, human form. It's like, it's the distinction of your corporeal form and understanding, like, where you are in your essence. I'm also feeling like an ungrounded energy, and I'm feeling like a lot of masking energy, you know, of like, that's why, like, when you're with some people, you know, when the light is good and everything's great, you know, maybe your shadow comes out more. But when you're with darker shadow people, right, like your light comes out more. And it could be you know, you could be a duality worker. There's more cards in there. So let's see what this has to say. The last one says, Picasso said, we all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given us to understand, right? Art's subjective too. I worked in an art gallery. I used to love, like, that was my favorite part. I'd never worked in an art gallery before. I'd been to parties or been to situations where people were looking at art or I was near art, but it wasn't until I was actually like working there and watching the salespeople do their thing did I understand and realize, like, how magical they were at their job. And they weren't trying to, you know, sell anything to anybody that they didn't want them to have, you know, but it would always be interesting they would ask them kind of the same questions, you know, like, what do you see? And I know it's a little trivial, but they're like, how does it move you? You know, like, what is it about? What is it? Is it the colors? Is it the shape? You know, if it's a person, like, what are you drawn to? You know, and almost anybody who's ever drawn to any art is drawn to something that is connected to their psyche, their subconscious somehow. The woman in the painting looks like a grandmother, you know, that they missed, that they lost when they were a young child, you know. An abstract photo, you know, reminds them of a car accident when they were a teenager. You know what I mean? Just like, you never know. And it's really interesting. And watching somebody go through the process of why they like art, to hear that and then to watch them purchase it, it's really quite fascinating. It makes me miss working at an art gallery, but it's also, you know, it's subjective, just like anything else. So they're trying to ask you, like, what are you seeing and how are you seeing things? And in what way, shape, or form? Okay, so the other one, they had me shuffle them. So I'm going to do it again this time. Okay. Oh, okay. And for those of you who did not go to the group reading that this based from, there's a link in the description box. So follow the link in the description box, okay? Because it's going to take you to some real powerful, we did a reading for the tribe and it was really powerful. And a lot of those cards showed up in message 2, and now they're showing up here for you in message 4. The Mystic. 21. Also the number 3. So truth, you are the mystic. How do you see things with your third eye? You know what I mean? How are you seeing the world? How are you looking at the world? What does the world look like to you? Oh, the Father. Interesting. Number 2. I'm going to go down a little bit there in the color. I feel like it wants to go here. The Father. Or is that, I was like, is that 11? I guess it's the way you perceive it, but it's number 2. Now, look at how this way, doesn't it kind of look like a cool Christmas tree or like, you know, a pine tree or whatever? But this card's always so interesting to me because you can really look at it in so many different ways. It could be a reflection. It could be the sky. It could be the underbelly, the under earth. And then we have the box. It could be, for some of you, it could be a father energy that's holding you back. I want to see if they want me to read any from the book. Do we want to read any of those cards? Do you want to read anything from the book on any of the cards we just pulled out? No, I just heard it's simple math. I feel like some of you already know. And we can do this since we've already... I feel like this wants to stay here. Who's the mystic in the family, though? I feel like maybe some of you, that's what it is, too. Maybe you had a mystic parent. Oh, I knew they were going to have that crystal ball come in for somebody. Did some of you have a mystic parent? Interesting that they had me put these cards over here, but the box is over the community and the mystic is over the womb. So it could even be that maybe some of you, your gifts come from your mother's side, since the womb, like, you know, you grew inside your mother, and maybe it's the father figure that you're having a hard time with. Maybe they see the world more like this top one, kind of a dark, dreary place. I saw an old man kind of angry and drinking, and you see it more like this. But also remember that the father represents the divine masculine, so it could be that as well. But interesting, we have the box, the father, truth, because that's what this really comes out to, and the mystic. You know, I put this together today for the ancestors to thank them. I tried to... Ooh, wow, that's so interesting. Why did that just happen? That's interesting. I feel like some of you, did you have like a really strict parent? Because when that happened, I felt like somebody, let's put it this way. I mean, you know, it's no biggie, right? I'm just throw it back on there. But I felt like somebody was like, oh my God, no, put it back on there, put it back on there, put it, you know. So like, did you like have a perfect parent or a mother or a father? It could be a mother that had a really strong masculine energy, but they specifically had me pull the father card. The king card was also represented in, I believe, reading 2. But they could have just as easily had me, you know, bring it in here. Let me see if there's anything else that wants to come through. I'm getting the chills all over my body. I'm hearing Bruce. Oh, I think my dad is here because I used to go out with a guy. I grew up, my high school sweetheart, and my dad used to call him Loose Bruce. And I just heard Loose Bruce. Oh my gosh, how funny. So this could be a father wound for sure. Or it could even be that like your dad's really awesome, but like he's living with a father wound from his father. And maybe, you know, I know my dad had said to me once that he wished he had done things a little bit different, but he was always trying to stay in the box, you know, trying to stay, you got to get the bills paid, you got to get things done, you got to, you know, getting a job as a mystic isn't exactly, you know, wasn't exactly on the menu, is kind of the energy I'm getting from spirit. Let's pull out a little bit. There's definitely some messages in here. Somebody's having some scrying moments. I feel like it wants to come in. Not always, but sometimes. This one reminds me, probably because of this right here and the flowers, it reminds me of The Wizard of Oz. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow. Ooh, look at that. Could be through there. There's some scrying going on this crystal ball. Definitely I'm hearing to get out in nature. For some of you, nature was your sweet spot with your dad. The mom, I really feel like the mystic was just like what I said earlier. Like, I'm not feeling the mother energy anymore. Like, I don't feel a mother wound, but it could be. It doesn't mean it's not. But I am definitely feeling some type of father, like, ooh, okay. Some type of father-based energy. It feels unsettled or like unfinished. Or like, no matter where I go, it's not going to be good enough. That's at least for one person. It's time to let that go. Whether your fathers are alive or deceased, I can tell you right now, like, their higher selves want you to know that they don't want you to live your life like this. This is not what they wanted. I feel like they're literally saying, like, if I knew then that it would have this big of effect on them, I would have never said those things. I would have never have done those things. I would have never, because some of you are holding on to such old wounds that it's literally impeding your progress, and it's impeding, like, what do you love to do? What makes you so happy? Or what did you used to love to do and you don't do anymore? Or when you do it, you're like not as happy. I'm hearing there's something still in there, but you just have to change it up. It's like that one little thing, like you're just missing one little thing and you don't know exactly what it is. Look at the Lemurian crystal wanted to come in. Somebody needed a download. It's just one little thing. It's literally one little thing they're saying. And it's not even a really great big thing. The great big thing is making peace with the father figure and the father energy. And this could be something that's ancestral. Like I said, you could be great with your dad, but there must be some type of ancestral breakage that must move forward. I'm literally seeing like Superman and Wonder Woman and like her invisible jet. And I'm seeing, that we're superheroes. And you have to remember that your earthbound family were just the ones that you were born into to break the ancestral lineage. But you're not meant to have really close ties with some of these people, believe it or not. And you may leave this lifetime. There's a good chance that you will leave this lifetime without any closure. And that's what you're meant to move forward with. That's okay. Because you actually do have the closure. They're the ones that don't have closure, especially if they die in the old energy. They'll definitely come back for, and there'll be something with that. And you have to remember that you chose to connect with them in that direction and in that way. You chose that with them. That was part of your soul contract when you came over. The Lemurian crystal is here to remind you of that. Okay? So, I am hearing, don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you all through my wild days. My mad existence. Something like, I kept my promise, don't keep your distance. I feel like somebody's trying to talk to you. I'm feeling mesmerized by this too, by the way, because I have Lemurian as well. So I'm like, okay. We're going to leave that here with the Lemurian crystal. And I think we're going to leave it there with your reading. I don't believe, unless they want me to go into the book. Spirit, do we want to go into the book anymore? The only thing they really want to talk about now, and they asked if I can just pull them all together, was the mystic. Even though these other ones we left it as that as the face card, they want you to remember that above all truth. You are the mystic. Like, you came here to do really big, really magical, really wonderful, wonderful things. And they don't want you to lose sight of that. And that has been the common thread woven throughout these readings, is that they're just going to keep hammering home that we are light workers. We are light workers. We, like, it's kind of like, you know, with Neo and the Matrix, right? It's like, it takes a while for him to like really get that, like, it's not real. It's not real. And it's kind of like, that's what's happening now, is there are so many people, especially the empaths, we get this connection. And a lot of it is because we're connected to these people from other lifetimes. And it's the death of that part of us. And it's the death of the ego part of us that needs to release and let go. It's the control, which is why these readings were kind of Shanghai today, but in a beautiful way, to show us that, you know, in this full Libra day, it's the only full Libra day, because it's the last day of Libra and it's the first day of the Libra moon. It's really powerful, and there's something to that. And it's a number 4 day, which is all about balance. So they're trying to help us to like see, like really see. They're like, see, do you see? Like, do you see the eye on the bottom and then the eye on the top? To see beyond all that, as above, so below, and to understand that, like, you are the mystic. Message 4, you are the mystic. You know, and I feel like for some of you, you keep searching for something, and they're like, but what you're searching for is yourself. And I hope that makes sense. All right, you guys, I'm going to move on to reading 5. I love you so much. Let me see, unless there's any more. Spirit, do we have any more reading? Do you have any more messages for reading or 4? Okay, nope, I was right. Okay, see you later, guys. All right, we're moving on to reading 5, message 5. Oh my gosh, they're right. It's like, and not that I can't release that, but I just keep saying the same things over and over, and they're like, message, 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 not reading, not reading. I feel like this wants to go over here. Okay, so the other readings, I felt like it was meant to be that way, but this one, I'm feeling different. I'm feeling like I really want to just, oh, here, I'm putting bells, mind your ears. We're just breaking up the energy from the other readings. Okay, so message 5, and we're going to let the mystic there. Do you want to go there? Oh, I was going to say, I felt like they wanted something there, but they want that there. Okay. You know what's so funny? They had me move that rainbow calcite next to the womb, and it totally looks like a vagina. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so the sage does kind of want to come over here, though, so I'm going to let that happen. And the bay leaf. The bay leaf was really, I was drawn to throw the bay leaf in the beginning over here, so I feel like there's something for you there as well. And because this connected, so lemongrass, sage, and bay leaves may be something you might want to work with. Message 5. I feel like you want to be in your own world, like away from everybody. What's going on? I guess we're about to find out. I mean, it's so much so that I'm like, I feel like I want to go like this, but they're like, you don't have to get that dramatic about it, because they do want the mystic in there. But this is the first time they're kind of having me change up the, oh, and they're having me burn some lemongrass. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Wow. Alrighty then. So, the womb. Okay, message 5. Can we just talk about how cool this is? It just occurred to me that we started with message 1 was the threshold number 45, and we are ending with message 5, and it is 46. So 45 is the number 9 and 46 is the number 10. And I feel like this reading is trying to show us in this new moon, this new energy, we've finally gotten past the eclipse season. We made it through eclipse season. We made it through the shadow energy of the dark moon. Like, we made it. We're maybe a little battered and bruised, but we're still here to talk about it. We still have smiles on our face. Abundance is here. Love is good. Life is good. All is well. And I get the vibe from Spirit that they are saying that we are in the womb, but we are about to come out. And I have been feeling this for a while, you guys. I said I really have been feeling for a while that this, the year of the horse is going to be something unprecedented, especially because, you know, we started with 45, the threshold, ending with 46, the womb. We're in 2025. It's a 9-year. Next year is 2026. So it's like another 5 and 6. But get this, you guys, just to make it even more fun. It's on page 155, which is the number 11. So I love it. The angels, they're telling us we are the mystics. So the womb, the nest, the belly, the origin. Everything has an origin story. The womb archetype asks us to contemplate the beginning beyond the beginning, the mother beyond the mother, in a world that often negates the power and necessity of feminine principles. This card returns us to the warmth, tenderness, and sacred intelligence from which we came. It is a card of receiving, not achieving, of accepting love from the mother of us all. She is the life-giving force that forgives and cherishes even the most wounded and disparate soul. No matter how lost you are, the womb awaits your return to help you heal and grow. This card is a call to keep things simple, to return, to be reborn in the name of love. The womb is everywhere. It is beyond gender, beyond time. We are within it as it is within us. Exactly. We started this at the threshold, like, right? We're right, message 1, it's like we're at the beginning. We're just, starting to figure things out, we're understanding, but there's in between is Spirit talking to us and saying that we need to, understand our personal power and why we're here, and that we can't just run away from or shirk our responsibilities as light workers. We've got shit to do here. And they're reminding us, and not in a harsh way, but they are reminding us. They're saying, listen, you guys, we get it. You're fucking tired. You've been working your asses off. We love you. But you need to be able to focus, like right now, right? How they're having me do this, because they want us to start to become more expansive and have a bigger bandwidth for the bullshit, because, we're going to see and experience a lot of things over the next several years, and it's only going to get better, but it's going to get better for people who are in alignment with the light. And for those who don't want to participate and don't understand, it's not going to be as fun or favorable, especially for those who have used their cunning and their wit and whatever, and they're like, oh, look at me. Especially people who use their looks or their money, they're going to realize that none of that shit really matters at the end of the day. Love is the key. Love is the answer. Love is all there is. So, all you need is love, right? All you need is love. So when we are in light and in high vibration of the womb energy, we are in nourishment, harmony, warmth, and love. But when we're in dark and when we're in shadow, we are stricken. We have ecological crisis, right? Like, look what's going on right now. Infertility and imbalance. And interesting that we were just talking about balance, the balance of the Libra scales. So to go deeper, Gustav Corbett's The Origin of the World. So if you want to go deeper into this energy, research that. It is interesting, though, too, that it is on 155. That's so powerful. So some of the medicine, one part of the medicine says, what would honoring the feminine look like to you? They want you to really ask yourself these questions, okay? Because that's where the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that's why the breakage is happening right now, because we have both in each one of us, but it's the love that's rising. It's not just the divine feminine. It's not just the love. It's the connection of the two. And the divine masculine, right, is men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right? That kind of energy. Well, Mars is also the planet of war. And a lot of times, the masculine doesn't feel good unless it's arguing or it's in a, you know what I mean? And that's in a low vibration of the masculine, right? Wanting to control, wanting to have everything go their way. But that's not the world we live in. And that's not the world that's continuing. By the way, I can hear Alder is delivering water. So if you hear a bunch of stuff going on, that's what's happening. Okay, so the other side of this is consider that Mother Earth must also have a mother. Imagine her. Wow, I don't ever remember this part of the card. Consider that Mother Earth must also have a mother and imagine her. Oh, yes, right? Because if you look at it that way, then it's like, then Earth is, she's an entity. She's a divine feminine energy. But yeah, she's somebody's child. We want to take care of her. We want to nurture her. Why wouldn't we care for her and nurture her just like any other child? That's so powerful. And as we do that, we care and tend for our inner child as well. Wow, I just got the chill spirit. That's the power of the mystic. That's the power of the mystic. And if you didn't watch the group reading, there'll be a link in the description box. You might want to go check it out, where this kind of originated. This whole reading was birthed through this. And I didn't realize they were going to have this connection. I knew when they had me do certain things that it was going to be really cool. But this is even more beautiful than I could have imagined. So even with the whole break in between, this has been just lovely. So let's see what supplement cards, because you're one of 3 readings that had supplement. Oh, and you only had 1. I thought you had more than 1. Oh, the Destroyer. Interesting. So speaking of, when we did the last reading, the group reading, the Destroyer, we pulled this, which is also the number 23, which is also the number 5. And 5 is half of 10. So it could be for some of you, like maybe you're halfway there if you were drawn to this, But for some of you also, who's the destroyer? Are you destroying yourself, or is someone, because if you're thinking someone is destroying you, well, nobody can destroy you unless you give them permission to. I always like this card upside down because it kind of looks like a really worried, scared bird. It kind of looks like an owl or some other bird that's like, oh, help me, I'm scared, And then when you flip it over, it's like this fierce, wolf, or it could even be a human, Could be a distorted face. But there's something inside of you that is not wanting you to love yourself and love others. But you can't wish it away. The destroyer is part of your process right now. And it may not be, the part you want to look at, but it is part of the process. It's all part of the process. Let me see if they want me to, do you want me to read anything else from the book? Do you have any other messages for the destroyer? Hold on. By the way, I paused it for a minute because he was doing a lot of stuff and it was getting loud. As I went to talk to you guys again, I opened the book to the threshold, which was message 1, and I can't really, well, I guess I can move my camera, but the way that my crystals in the windows are hitting, there's like a huge rainbow on the threshold right now. So if you were interested in message 1, you may want to go and watch it. Okay, I think that's it. Do we have any more messages for, oh, that's what they're saying. Which wolf are you feeding? Because they had me pull back the flame. I felt like we still had another message. Yeah, they're saying like, which wolf are you feeding? And I'm also hearing like, whose delusion are you listening to? I feel like for some of you, maybe you do things like this, oops, sorry, honeys. Sorry, guys. Maybe you smudge like this and you've got people who are like, what are you doing? Why do you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm hearing that you don't have to defend yourself or express yourself in any other way. Then, sorry, this whole reading has been so bizarre. You know what I was just realizing? It's all air energy because it's double Libra. So we're going from the earth energy of Virgo moon, and we had 2 Virgo moons, And now we're in like the air energy, and it's just different. So I'm hearing for some of you, it's going to be really important for you to smudge and take good care of yourself. I apologize for that. And take really, really, really good care of yourself. They wanted me to take a picture. Oh, that's so cool. So the mystic, the destroyer, and the womb. Okay, I just have a few more messages that they want me to channel. Stop self-sabotaging. Don't let the destroyer, the destroyer is there is like your protector. It's the one that helps you set your boundaries and hold your boundaries. You know, that's what they're there for, right? But the destroyer doesn't make choices for you, right? Also, I've been getting this a lot from Spirit about us. We control our brain. Our brain does not control us, but we've been controlled to believe that our brain controls us. Does that make sense? So stop the self-sabotage. What I'm getting from Spirit is whenever you're leaning into a shadow or a darkness that doesn't make sense to you or doesn't feel right to you, what I'm getting from Spirit is because it's old stuff. That's why it doesn't feel right to you now, because you're not that person anymore. At least you're trying not to be. And the fact that your card that you chose, the womb, right, is the end. It's like an ending. It's an ending, and it's time for a new beginning. It's time for a new beginning. Okay, Spirit, do we have any more? I think that's it. I heard something about nestling in the dark space is good. Just don't live there. Make sure that, it's good to go into that, kind of hermit mode. And we've been there with the Virgo energy for 2 months with that moon. But what they're trying to show us is that, like, this is different though. It's the balance. This is why they wanted me to do this. Okay, hold on. See, now when we see them all together, for those of you who have been following through all of it, it gives us a much more powerful perspective too. They didn't have me pull out the other cards right now. I don't have them. I can't make it go that long. But, it's about the threshold. What are we going to take and what are we not going to take? But how are we going to do it with love? It's about the vow, the commitment that we made before we came over here. I've been saying this has been kind of coming up a lot lately, and to myself too, where I keep saying to people, I'm like, I know you like playing human. Like, it's fucking awesome to be human, and you can have fun and you can play and you can be a certain way. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but it's kind of like if you're hired for a job, right? Because they're giving us for you to see it in that perspective. If you're hired for a job and you get to the job and the job's like, oh, you can have some cocktails. That's fine. It's no big deal. You're going to be socializing with people anyway, and you're like, okay. But then by the time people actually arrive and you have to do the job that you were meant to do, you're too drunk to do it. Not cool. You were hired for a job. And it's an interesting analogy right now, but that's what they're trying to say for all of us. Like, we took a vow, like we said that we were going to be here. And for some of us, it's even more deeper. Like, maybe you took a marital vow, because I definitely felt that, especially doing these readings right now. And then my partner shows up. It was like unplanned, and you know what I mean? And bringing me things that I really needed, 2 things that are like super important. And I just was like, wow, I feel really loved. And even though like they haven't held up to their vow and our marriage vows and things like that, they're trying to take care of me. And that shows me like, wow, they really do love me. They really do care about me. They care about my well-being. It's just taking small steps here and there. At some point, I'm sure we'll talk about it when I thank them even more, but it takes a village, right? It takes a village for all of us to come together and keep supporting each other and keep telling each other the same thing. That friend who, I was watching something recently, and there were 3 friends, and one friend was upset about a guy she was dating, and the other friend was trying to give her advice, and the other one kept rolling her eyes, and she's like, why do you keep rolling your eyes at me? And she's like, oh, she's like, you're probably gonna get back together. Like, why go through all this? Like, just, blah, blah, why do we have to hear about it? And she's like, have you never had any girlfriends before? And she's like, not really. And she's like, well, this is what girls do. This is how we help each other. This is community. And it was really interesting. And it made me realize that that's true, that not all people, men, women, doesn't matter. Not everybody sees it that way, but we do sometimes need to. It's not about gossiping. Gossiping is one thing, you know, but if you're going through something and you need to talk it out or talk it through, that's what your family and your friends are there to do, right? So it does take a village for us to get through this together, because we're doing something so big that's never been done before. We are the mystics. We are the healers. We are the deep down believers in magic. We are the destroyers of the dark when the light needs to come into view. This is who we are. We are the ancestral lineage breakers. We are the ones that, like, yeah, I wish you can feel how heavy this stone is. You know, we're the ones that are grounding that love. Working in dream time, working in daytime. But in the meantime, we work with the beautiful things from Gaia. We thank Spirit with all these beautiful gifts that we are so blessed to have. We acknowledge that we are part of the fabric of humanity, yet we are light workers, and we come from a place that a lot of people don't understand, and we don't always fully understand ourselves here. You know, there's a reason why we're programmed a certain way, to remember when we remember and wake up when we wake up. But the end and the beginning is all the same. It's always going on at all times. And once we understand that, we won't have this hold on us about past and future. That's why they wanted me to just go with the flow today. That's not the way I had it planned. I wanted to make it perfect. It's the new moon. It's new. I want everything. And they're like, what is perfect? What does perfect mean? What is perfect? There's no such thing. And I had something recently where I was taught another lesson, because another thing with my partner where they just go when they go and show up when they show up. And they were going to pick up some more stuff for me from the farm to get my lemongrass plants and tomatoes. And they said, you know, tell them I'll be there at 10. I'm like, okay, cool. Message them, said they're going to be there at 10. They're like, awesome. You know, if we're not here, here's the instructions, blah, blah, blah. You know, they know us so well. They're like, you know, he knows where it is, but I'm going to put it over here. And then he messaged me back and said, I don't think it's going to be until between 2 and 4. I'm like, cool. Messaged them back, said it's going to be between 2 and 4. He's like, no problem. We have plans at 3:45. We may miss him. So, you know, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy everything, blah, blah, blah. Then that night, I don't hear from him all day. I'm thinking he tells him between 2 and 4, which usually means he'll show up here sometime between 4 and 5, or maybe sooner. He usually messages me and says, I'm on my way. It's like 6:40, and I'm like, I messaged him at like 5 or 6. I don't know when I messaged him and said, hey, if you're not going to make it, can you just let me know? I'll message him. Never responds. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, did something happen, or he got stuck in a job or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he's doing. Come to find out, he's like, I'm on my way. I picked everything up. I'm like, cool. He gets here. He's like, yeah, I picked it up at noon. I was like, what? I'm like, you told me 10, then you told me this time. And he's like, yeah. And I go, and then you just showed up there at noon? I'm like, oh, dude. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And so I apologized for him. I said, you know, to the people, I'm so sorry that I said, thank you for everything. And I'm sorry, you know, he didn't tell me he was going to show up. And he said, he showed up exactly when he was meant to, all is well. You know what I mean? And I needed that reminder from that old wise wizard, this, you know, beautiful farmer who was just like, it's all good. Like, you know, we know you guys, like, we know, like, it's all good. And it made me realize I'm the problem. Like, I need to realize that that's just who he is. And he keeps trying to conform and change for me because I am this controlling person. But the irony is I'm a triple Sag with my moon in Scorpio. Like, Sages are all about freedom and like going by the seat of our pants. But over the years and in the matrix and in my family, everything was in precision and time. And you had to be there at a certain time. And if you say you're going to be there, you better be there. And it made me realize that how much stuff I'm still unpacking, and that he is actually my greatest teacher, my partner. And it was so beautiful. And I was like, and he brought me something that was so needed. And I've realized I'm just looking at things the wrong way. and I need to turn them upside down, and I need to look at them a different way. And I don't regret anything or whatever, like, right? I have no regrets. Like, everything happens the way it's supposed to. But I hope that this gave you the same clarity and insight that I received today. Are there any more messages, Spirit? Do we have any more messages for the group? Do you want to read anything else out of the book before we head out? Okay, that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this very off-the-cuff, very interesting, very awesome, very insightful new moon and Libra reading messages we need to hear right now from Spirit and from the Wild Unknown Archetypes Guidebook. Thank you to Kim Kranz. Thank you to your guides and my guides. Thank you, Spirit, for being here today. We are in the deepest gratitude for all of the work that we did, and thank you for blessing Alder as well for doing all that for me. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you'd like to contribute to any of the work I do on my channels, all of that information is in the description box and on this channel. Just follow the breadcrumbs and you will find it. I love you. Spirit loves you. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh, bye.